see how it goes. I really want everybody to have enough time. So all we're going to do is, I want you to take a breath. When I tell you, I want you to take a breath in through your nose. I think we did this in the Toastmaster class. And then I want you to hold it until I say, don't do it yet. Then I want you to hold it until I say, now let it out through your mouth. And that's all I want you to do this first time. So you're going to breathe slowly in through your nose. Hold it. Now put your shoulders back down where they were. And let the air out slowly through your mouth. And as you're doing it, move all the air out. All of it, until you just are going to gasp for breath. Okay? One more time in through your nose. Slowly, and hold it. Shoulders down, and now out through your mouth. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. Now, what did you observe when you did that about this area that we call the abs and the diaphragm? Did you observe anything? Personally? Yes?
Expand.
Did it? Okay, did you feel it expand? Okay, and then when you were letting the air out,
Kind of up.
yeah, it started to move this way, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it has to, because when I tell you that I want you to move, I want you to keep moving all the air out, your diaphragm sends a message, your brain sends a message to the diaphragm, we need help, because Ron's still pushing air out, still moving air out, and so the diaphragm collapses even more and presses against, okay? Does that make sense? Now, we're going to do something that's very difficult, but you do it every day, all day long. In a minute, we're going to take the breath, and then I want you to just release your abdominals. Because probably, when you're doing this exercise, you're pulling in slightly, and I want you to do the opposite. So take the breath and hold it. Now just release your abs and let them go out, like I just did. Make yourself fat. Now move the air out. And feel your abs start to move right away, right? They should start to move right away. If they don't, we're going to practice, and you get to practice on your own at home, okay? So now just relax your abdominals. And we're going to take the air in through our nose again. And we're going to focus on relaxing that area until we start to use the air now. I immediately feel my abs start to move. Anybody have any questions about that? Okay, you don't have to be successful in this moment. You need to practice it on your own. And a really great way to practice this is laying down on your back. Really great way to practice it is
I got a question. Do we contract this part, or do we make it bigger when we exhale out? Like,
it should automatically, when you exhale, she's asking, should you do anything? No. You should feel the diaphragm contracting on its own. You move it. But when you take the air in, I want you to be focused on relaxing your abs. Okay? Make sense? Thanks, Michelle. Good question. So, great. One of the things that's on the sheet here that I want to talk to you about, so you can, I want you to do that before you practice the speech. I want you to practice your exercises here on this page, all right? And do like 5 of those breathing exercises. That would be good. Now, it's not on this page, but we're gonna pant to get a really good grip of how we can use our abs to move the air. So just go. No shoulders, no neck, no arms, just belly. So now, really hearty, ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Did you feel that?
Yeah.
That is, if you do that right, it's right from the diaphragm where the abs are, because H, and this is a little tidbit of wisdom that you need to remember, is the only English consonant that we make with air. All the other consonants we make with our orchestral instrument up here. I call this the orchestra for the voice, the teeth, lips, and tongue. You can have a seat, because you probably need to write some of that down. H is the only consonant you make with your air. Just try it. Try to make an H and not use any air. Hello. Just say hello really slowly. Hello. You feel your tummy, right? That's the only way you can do it. If you don't feel your tummy moving, you're not doing a proper H. Hi. tummy move? High. Yeah, it has to, because H is the only consonant we make. All the other ones are done with the percussion section, teeth, lips, and tongue, all the other consonants. Okay? So you're going to do 5 breathing exercises, then you're going to do 5 panting, and then you're going to do 5 Santa laughs. Ha, 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 ha. Down low. Ha, 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 ha. Look at my belly. Ha, 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 ha. Why are we doing all this about breath? Because I want you to be in control of your breath instead of your breath being in control of you. And when you're nervous and giving a speech, what's the first thing you might do when you're nervous?
Take a deep breath.
No, you don't take a deep breath.
Stop breathing.
You stop breathing, right? And the reason why you feel loopy is because the heart starts to beat faster because it's saying, give me air, because blood must have oxygen, right? And while that's happening, your brain starts to pump what into your blood, into your stream? Adrenaline, right? And so all those things together make for a person who probably will faint. Or just, clamp down and be lost. So breath is your friend, is your friend, is your friend when you're doing Toastmasters, all right? Or giving a speech, or doing a presentation. I can't even tell you, I've met with Min for a presentation for 2 hours, and I couldn't believe how she was not breathing. And when she actually had to think about breathing, it slowed her down. And she goes, this is so slow. I go, it's normal. You are speaking normally now. Because you're not going like this. And the more you go like that, and the more she's talking, and the more, and I said, you're just, where's the air? There's no breath happening, all right? And Asians, by the very nature of their makeup, speak very fast, right? But I know that you're breathing, otherwise you would be dead. So all we're doing is, we're not doing anything fancy with the breath, we're just studying it and looking at it so it can be our tool in our toolbox for speaking better and understanding how we're going to fix some of the accent issues and how we're going to fix some of the speaking issues. Any questions so far? Okay. The next thing on here, number 2, is posture. Well, we talked about posture when at the Toastmasters. And so, by and large, there aren't many slouchy Asians. Asians are pretty, pretty good about posture. But I have some things to say about that, which I hope that you will take to heart. Number 1, and when I came to your Toastmaster class, I talked about the book pack thing, right? And I showed you slouching. Everybody, look, we did not come from apes, by the way. That's not, I don't know if you believe in evolution, but I believe in I'm a creationist. So that picture that sometimes you'll see when people are talking about evolution, they show the ape like this, and before it gets to man, it gets taller and taller and taller and taller. That's why they call it evolution. Well, that's crazy. The human spine was made to be erect. The human spine did not come from the monkey spine, the ape spine. So the human spine needs to be lined up and be straight so that everything that's inside your torso can operate correctly and be okay. So I talked about slouching that the kids do, when they've got their backpacks on, and then we talked about what it means to be, to have that plumb line. I mentioned the plumb line, right? So a plumb line is a guide for your body. Here's how I like to think of our posture. I like to think of a grand marionette holder, somebody who's up here like a puppet, all right, and there are strings. And everything's just really loose, and you feel yourself being held erect by the main string of the marionette. So, paper down, pencils down, and stand up, please. So we're all going to scrunch or slouch. You can look up. You can look up at me, okay? Like a bunch of monkeys. All right. So now, now we're going to start with our lower back and just let everything. Shoulders back, not tense, but proud. We're queens and kings. Okay? We're queens and kings. We don't have any of this. Everybody scrunch again. Oh, it's so bad for your back. So bad for your lower spine. And now, just bring it up slowly. Take a big deep breath. Don't do it. Don't do like this. Some of you went like this. right? The breath goes this way. It goes this way. The diaphragm goes down and makes room for the air. Nothing can be achieved by going, you might do that when you're in a car accident or, you know, when something crazy happens to you, but normally you don't go around going, right? You don't do that, okay? So, now the other thing I would say about posture, now that we've got ourselves looking like queens and kings, would be that this, you can see how close my feet are together, this is a recipe for disaster, right? Your knees will lock and down you go. So we're simply going to take one step with our left foot about 6 inches away, and then make a nice V, right? And I want you to think of straight ahead, a point on the wall behind me, and focus on that, and think about how this feels. Make sure that your heels are, that you're not stepping, that you're not leaning forward, that you're not leaning too far back, but that you're solid, your terra firma is solid. You can feel every part of your foot in your shoe on the floor. Good? Make a little space between your legs, just a little bit. There you go. It doesn't have to be a lot, okay? Great, excellent. This should be your speaking posture. Now you can move when you're speaking away from this, okay? But when you stop, always come back to center with a slight V, like a ballet dancer, okay? That's why they do, by the way. They have the most amazing posture of anybody in the world. Dancers, right? And they go through a lot of pain to get there, especially the ballerinas. But this will be the best for your speaking, and people will take you very seriously when they see, because you are seen before you're heard, correct? As you walk up, the first thing that will happen, and we're going to practice this tonight when we get to some of the speeches, the first thing that happens is that we see you. And so we don't want to see you come up and go, hi, my name's Ron, you know, I'm Toastmaster or whatever. We want to see you walk in. Very nice. Okay. Like that. Hey, my name, you know, it doesn't have to be stiff. That's not what we're going for. Any questions about the posture thing? Any questions? So shoulders nice and...
Do you have a like angle or do they allow something?
I like an angle. I do, because it does something really nice for your hips and helps you to feel just solid. Whereas this, especially for ladies, if you're wearing slacks, I don't want ladies to look like they're not ladies. So this throws you off center just a little bit. Men really got into this, and you know, with all the talk about sexuality, it's a dangerous thing to say, but it's more feminine, you know, and you're expressing yourself. It's a more nurturing stance. All right. Whereas guys can get away with something like this, but a lady looks a little odd that way. So all of this is to help you look as professional as possible, by the way. Okay, any questions about any of that? You may sit back down. More exercises. So we've talked, I'm going to steal some of these cough drops since I have my... we talked a little bit about how the sound is made. So we also talked about this box over here. Let's get a little bit more detailed about that, all right? And anytime we have class after tonight, if you have forgotten something or if you want to email me and ask me a question. That's totally okay. Did you hear about this Starbucks in Chicago?
Yeah,
Yes.
the biggest one.
And they're calling it a roastery. What is a roastery? That is the silliest thing in the world. I'll tell you. Yeah, I'm thinking about that because I grabbed some coffee on my way over here. Unbelievable.
It's open on Friday.
It's only open Fridays?
Yeah.
Oh, it just opened on
open
Friday.
on Friday.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
the reason why I didn't understand you was because you didn't say it just opened on Friday. Yeah,